is being a self-employed foot health practitioner still worth it? My honest answer is yes. But there were moments where I doubted myself and where I felt overwhelmed too. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you openly about the positives and the negatives and the mindset stuff that nobody really prepares you for. I'm Jess, I'm a self-employed foot health practitioner in the UK, and this video is part of my mini-series. I'm going to take you from thinking about becoming a foot health practitioner all the way through to qualifying and setting up your own foot care business. What worth it meant to me back then is completely different to what worth it means to me now. So back then it was more being my own boss and freedom, whereas now I've got young kids, got a family. So the worth it for me is the flexibility and also still job satisfaction and good pay too. When it comes to job satisfaction, I really do believe that it changes people's lives. You know, it's great having the flexibility, the money's good if you price your services right. However, the primary focus is the person that is sitting right in front of you, right? So that's your patient, your client. So if you don't enjoy being around people, then this job probably won't be worth it for you. Yes, you'll get all the other benefits of being self-employed, but when it comes to job satisfaction, you may not get that. So one of the most important, if not the most important, for this type of job to be worth it, you need to care and like people. So I want to tell you a story about a lady who I visited in her home for foot care. She is diabetic and she has been avoiding going for a diabetic foot check at her doctor's surgery, to the point where her doctor's surgery, they wrote her a letter and they said, if you do not come in, then we're going to have to take you off our list. So basically chucked her off the doctor's list. So she contacted me to come and do her feet and she was so embarrassed. She wouldn't take off her shoes. It took me a little while to convince her to she's obviously called me in, time-wise, got a next patient. And she told me that the reason why she hadn't gone in for her diabetic foot check review was because she was too embarrassed of her feet. Her nails had grown way too long because she struggled with reaching her feet to the point where she was putting her own health at risk. So I contacted her doctor's surgery. I wrote them an email, copied her in it as well, and kind of explained the situation, that the reason why she didn't book in for her diabetic foot checks is because she was really embarrassed of her feet. So the doctors were really, really good. They contacted her and got her in, and she now goes regularly. She gets her feet checked regularly now. She was so thankful, and to the point where she said, now I can go and get a vital health check done. It's really important. If you don't know, diabetic foot checks are really important because they are more at risk of complications. So I've been seeing her for over a year now, and she said, for the first time, Jess, in years, I'm going to be able to wear sandals this summer and show my feet off. And since I've also been seeing her, her son has been helping her take care of her feet in between appointments. Her feet have completely transformed, and to me, that is job satisfaction. Now, there is also the business side. So it's not so much a negative, but it's the reality of setting up a foot care business, especially in the beginning. There were times where I felt overwhelmed, and I'm not just talking about the one-to-one visiting people in their own homes, what equipment I needed or what I needed when treating somebody's feet. I'm talking about earning potential, setting up a private pension, no more employee benefits, no sick pay, no holiday pay, and also just making sure that my business ran smoothly. There was a time when I did want to just give up. I just didn't think I could be self-employed. It wasn't so much the job itself. I often tell people that I feel I had an NHS mindset where I wasn't used to exchanging a service for money, because that's not what we did. When we saw patients, they'd come in and see us. It was a free service, and it was just weird taking money from people to, for their health. And I found that I struggled with that a lot. I really did. Even though I had to, because obviously I needed a wage, but it just felt awkward. It felt weird taking people's money. But I had to then sit myself down and completely change my mindset. I needed to earn a wage. So I needed to make sure that I priced accordingly, earning enough money to live on. So it was a massive learning curve, but it was a time where I did question and I did think, can I actually do this? Especially that I was working by myself, so I didn't have a team around me. It was just me as a sole trader, a lone worker basically. So I knew early on that I needed to change the way I was doing things. And what I mean by that is, for example, my pricing. If I was to start on a low price or to continue with a low price, it would be harder over time to increase it. So I knew that I had to fail fast and change things as quickly as possible. And that also included boundaries, knowing how I wanted to be treated by people, knowing that I'm not in the NHS. You know, you can't shout at me over the counter or demand whatever it is that you want. I had boundaries. There are certain things that I would accept and certain things that I wouldn't. So I learned a lot of these things earlier on and then I changed it. To be honest, the other thing that kept me going and not quitting was my kids, because I knew that I needed that flexibility. I needed to be there for them. So I had to make it work. I really did. And having a small community of other foot health practitioners, that really did help as well, being able to bounce off them and share how I was feeling. You know, you're working by yourself and you do need other professionals around you as well to encourage you and just to share with, you know. So that was really important to me at that point. And believe it or not, sharing my journey online, that has really helped me through my YouTube and through my newsletter. So that's really helped me because so many other professionals or people who are interested in the foot health profession have reached out to me and encouraged me, and that has really helped me stick at what I'm doing. I want to quickly address some mindset barriers, mainly about people thinking that they're too old for this profession. I've had a few people say, oh, I'm too old, you know, or am I too old to become a foot health practitioner? I'm going to quickly mention this data from the HCPC. It is for podiatrists because there is no data for FHP, so I'm going to use this as an example. But you will find that the age range of foot health practitioners is quite similar. So this is what it says. Around half of the podiatry profession is in the 50+ age range as per the HCPC data 2023. So if you are in that age range, you will fit in perfectly. If you was to go onto a foot health forum and you ask people what age range they are in, a lot of them are in that age range too. So you will fit in perfectly. Don't worry too much about age, honestly. A lot of people that come into this profession, it is their second or third career. So if that's the one thing that's stopping you, you've got no excuses now. Another mindset that I want to address is that I'm not clever enough or I don't have a clinical or medical background. So I started off as a receptionist. I left school with hardly any qualifications whatsoever. So don't let that hold you back from doing something you really want to do. And what you'll find is there are a lot of people out there who are very supportive, especially your training provider. They're there to help you to succeed. What I've learned is once you find your way of learning, then you'll thrive, because we don't all learn the same. So don't let your head get in the way thinking that you're not clever enough. I know for myself, I'm a very practical learner, so I knew that I couldn't wait for the theory to be over and done with and just get into my practical training. So we all learn differently, okay? So be encouraged. So once you decide that this is something you really want to do, the next big step is choosing the right course. And this matters more than what people realize. In the next video, I'll share how I chose my foot health course and what I'll do differently if I was starting again today.